Be me, 27. Decent job, decent apartment, decent looks. But in my head, that all added up to above average. I worked in marketing for a mid-sized skincare company. My manager said I had presence, and I liked that word. It sounded like authority without having to say it. My apartment was a one-bedroom in a renovated building downtown. Fake wood floors, stainless steel appliances, just modern enough that I could take mirror pics without embarrassment. I wasn't rich, but I looked like I was doing well, and that was half the game. And because of that, I thought dating should come easy. If I was ambitious, independent, and educated, the right men would line up. My mom raised me on her own after my dad left. I was 8 when she told me, he gets to walk away and I have to fix what's left. She worked double shifts at a medical billing office, came home late, kicked off her shoes, and said things like, "You can't depend on anyone. Even love has an expiration date." It wasn't said with bitterness, just practicality. She'd survived on her own, so I grew up believing that was the goal. By college, that belief turned into something bigger. I remember sitting in a crowded auditorium during a women's leadership talk. The speaker said, "Strong women intimidate weak men. Never shrink to make them comfortable." People clapped. I did too. It felt empowering, like we were rewriting the rules, proving something. That line stuck with me for years, so whenever a guy wasn't interested, or pulled back, or acted unsure, I'd just think, he's intimidated. That became my comfort sentence. I met him at a co-worker's birthday dinner. It wasn't a big event, just 10 of us around a long table at a small gastropub downtown. Everyone was talking over each other, trying to be the funniest one in the room. Adam wasn't trying to. He didn't need to. He was just comfortable, the kind of guy who could make people laugh without performing. When the birthday candles wouldn't light, he leaned back, smirked, and said, "That's the universe telling you 30's enough, Jenna." Everyone laughed, even her. He had that kind of delivery. Calm, low voice, says something once, and people actually listen. He didn't dominate the room, but you noticed him. He sat next to my co-worker Jenna, who was the one throwing the dinner. At some point, she leaned over and said to me, "You know, you'd actually like Adam. He's got his life together. Quiet now, but he's got potential." I raised an eyebrow. "Potential how?" She shrugged. "Owns his condo. Good job. Doesn't blow his money on dumb stuff. Just solid." That word, solid, stuck out to me. I'd never thought about solid as a compliment. It sounded more like safe still. We ended up talking a bit when everyone started switching seats halfway through the night. He asked me how long I'd been at the company, said he'd heard my team was the one behind the last big product launch. He said it like he actually cared, not flirting, not pretending. When the bill came, he offered to help Jenna sort it out and quietly covered the tip when people started arguing about who ordered what. No big gesture, no brag, just did it. At first, I didn't even think much about him. But later that night, after everyone had gone home, I got a text. "Hey, you seemed cool. Want to grab dinner this week?" I stared at it for a second, wondering if I should bother. I was between situationships anyway. The last guy had just ghosted after 2 months of half-hearted dates. So I figured, why not? He seemed normal, grounded, and honestly, I was a little tired of games. So I said yes. We went to this Italian place near the river. Dim lights, checkered tables, the kind of spot where couples celebrate anniversaries. He got there early, stood up when I walked in. He wasn't flashy, grey button down, clean shaven, good posture. He smiled like he actually meant it, not like he was trying to sell me something. We ordered pasta and wine. He told me about his job, logistics for a freight company. "It's not glamorous, but I like it," he said. "So like, shipping stuff?" I asked. Yeah, coordinating routes, managing drivers, problem solving all day. Some days it's chaos, some days it's smooth. Feels good when things move right, sounds structured, I said, trying to sound interested. He grinned. That's the point. I like routine. You can't build anything if every day's a surprise. That line stuck out to me, not because it was deep, but because he said it so matter-of-factly. He wasn't trying to impress me. It was just who he was. He asked what I wanted out of life. I gave my usual line. I'm focused on work right now. I'll probably start my own brand in a few years, maybe something creative on the side. I just don't like planning too far ahead. He nodded slowly. That's fair. I used to think that way too, but now I kind of like planning ahead. Makes me feel like I'm steering the ship, not just floating. What do you mean? I asked, half curious, half trying to keep the conversation going. He said, like, I want to buy a house in the next year or two. Not a big one, just something I can fix up. I've been saving for it since I was 22. I've got a 5-year goal to start my own small fleet. Maybe 10 trucks total. Enough to keep me busy, not burned out. I remember swirling my wine and thinking, that's practical. No grand dream about changing the world, no story about disrupting industries, just something safe. Part of me respected it. Another part thought it sounded small. I asked, you ever think about traveling? Like, seeing more before you settle? He smiled. Sure. I take a trip every year. Usually simple, hiking somewhere quiet, renting a cabin, stuff like that. I laughed. You mean not Bali or Paris? He shrugged. Too crowded. I'd rather be where I can actually hear myself think. He wasn't trying to be profound. That's just how he was. Grounded, unbothered. I noticed he asked more about me than he talked about himself. Things like, what got you into marketing? And do you actually enjoy it? Or is it just what you're good at? No one usually asks that. Most guys just nodded through whatever I said until it was their turn to talk. Still, something about his calmness made me restless. He didn't flirt, didn't brag, didn't try to fill every silence with words. He just sat there, steady, easy, and it weirdly threw me off. When the check came, he paid without any big gesture or awkward pause. Just handled it. Then he walked me to my car. Thanks for coming out, he said. I had a good time. You're easy to talk to. Maybe next time I'll pick a fancier spot. It was a nice line, said casually. No pressure. But in my head, I thought, next time. We'll see. Still, when I got home that night, I didn't delete his number right away. And before falling asleep, I caught myself replaying little details. His tone when he said steering the ship. The way he'd listened like what I said actually mattered. For a second, I wondered if I'd misjudged him. Then I told myself not to overthink it. He was nice, but nice wasn't supposed to be enough. After dinner, I got home and started scrolling through Instagram while eating leftover tiramisu from the restaurant. A girl I went to college with popped up on my feed, Cassie. She wasn't ugly, but she was plain. Same hairstyle since senior year, posts about her dog, still lived in our hometown. But there she was on a yacht with a man in a tailored shirt and expensive watch. The caption said, "He treats me like gold." I opened his profile. Finance job, big house, luxury car. I stared at them for a long minute, not even jealous at first, just confused. Her? Really? I thought about Adam, about how he talked about trucking routes and maintenance schedules, like it was his calling. Then I looked at Cassie's ring. I remember actually saying out loud, "I'm so much prettier than her." It wasn't bitterness exactly, more like disbelief. I'd been told that confidence and independence made you valuable, that being self-sufficient put you above women who relied on men. So why did it seem like the world rewarded the opposite? I told myself she just got lucky, or that he wanted someone easier, someone less intimidating. That line, "Men can't handle strong women," always came to the rescue when things didn't add up. The next morning, Adam texted, "Dinner again sometime?" "I'll pick somewhere with better wine." I stared at the message. He'd done everything right, kind, consistent, adult, and somehow that annoyed me. I waited all day, then wrote back, "You're really nice, but I think we're after different things." He replied within a minute, "Totally fair. Take care of yourself." That was it. No chase, no, "Can I change your mind?" Nothing. Just an easy acceptance that made me feel weirdly dismissed. It was supposed to be empowering, cutting someone off first, but I sat there staring at the text, feeling smaller than before. I reread it 3 times, trying to decide why it bothered me. Maybe because he hadn't fought for me. Maybe because the power I thought I had only worked when men wanted me more than I wanted them. Over the next few months, the pattern repeated. Nice guys, normal jobs, polite manners. I'd find something wrong every time. Too routine, too serious, too normal. And whenever I doubted myself, I'd open social media again and see proof that I was right. Girls flaunting perfect lives, perfect boyfriends, perfect proposals. If women with half my looks could pull men with 6-figure smiles, then surely I just hadn't met my match yet. That's how I justified it. It wasn't arrogance, it was standards. At least, that's what I told myself back then. It's funny how time sneaks up. By the time I hit 29, I'd convinced myself I was just taking my time. My friends were starting to pair off, engagements, moving in, even babies. But I wasn't worried. I told people, "I'm waiting for the right one, not the first one." After Adam, I had a short streak of casual dates. Mostly guys from work events, friends of friends. Nothing stuck. Every time one fizzled out, I'd tell myself I was just filtering. It felt like progress, not loss. But the truth was, the attention I used to take for granted wasn't the same. When I was 25, men chased me. Random compliments, numbers slipped at coffee shops, guys volunteering to help with anything. By 29, it was quieter. Still there, but more selective. I told myself it was because men were intimidated. It's easier than admitting the shift might be something else. That spring, I started dating what my friends called real men. Guys with careers, drive, property. The ones who checked all the boxes. Lawyers, consultants, finance types. The kind who made reservations instead of suggestions. The first one was Mark, a corporate lawyer in his mid-30s. We met at a friend's dinner. He was tall, confident, well-dressed. Exactly the type that used to ignore me, which made his attention feel like validation. Our first date was perfect on paper. Rooftop bar, expensive cocktails, sharp conversation. He asked smart questions about my work, joked about how he barely had time for hobbies, and complimented my dress in a way that sounded practiced but not fake. Halfway through the second drink, I asked, "So are you looking for something serious or just seeing where things go?" He laughed. Not a nervous laugh, but that smooth, controlled one that men do when they've been asked that question 100 times. He said, "Honestly, I like being single right now. Relationships are heavy. I travel a lot. You know how it is." I nodded like it was fine. But something about how easily he said it made my stomach twist. He wasn't lying, he wasn't rude, he just wasn't offering anything. When we left, he gave me a quick kiss and said, "You're cool. Let's hang again sometime." Then he texted a week later at midnight, "You up?" "I'm near your place." I didn't reply, but I stared at it longer than I'd admit. Then came Alex, a guy from a local networking event. early 30s, owned a gym chain. Good looking, charming, said all the right things. We met for drinks and he spent most of the night telling me stories about business trips, investors, and the grind. At one point, I asked, "So what are you actually looking for?" He smirked. "Fun, mainly. Someone who can keep up." "You seem like that type." I laughed, pretending not to be offended. "Keep up how?" He leaned back. "You've got that boss energy. Most women want to be taken care of. You look like you don't need that. So that's kinda sexy. No pressure, no expectations." The confidence that used to excite me now felt insulting. He was basically saying I'd been disqualified from being girlfriend material, and was supposed to take it as a compliment. We hooked up twice anyway. It wasn't about liking him, it was about proving to myself I still could. But when he stopped texting back after a week, I felt something new. Not heartbreak, just an uncomfortable emptiness. After that came Dylan, an entrepreneur type who loved talking about crypto and freedom lifestyles. We went on 2 dates. The second one ended with him saying, "You're cool, but I'm not in a relationship headspace right now." I wanted to say, "Then why ask me out?" But instead I smiled, said, "Totally get it," and went home. Sat on my couch, wine glass in hand, trying not to check my phone. It wasn't like I was desperate for a relationship, that's what I kept telling myself. But it was hard not to notice the pattern. Men who had the jobs, the looks, the confidence, all saying the same thing in different ways. "You're fun, but not the one." One night, I went to dinner with Jamie again, the same friend who used to hype me up about standards. I told her about Mark, Alex, and Dylan. She rolled her eyes and said, "Girl, you just need someone who can handle you." "These guys are intimidated," I nodded, but this time it didn't feel as convincing. I asked, "Then why do they keep dating women who don't have half my drive?" She looked uncomfortable, stirred her drink, and said, "Men are weird. Don't overthink it." That's when I realized the advice we'd built our confidence on. "Men can't handle strong women" was starting to sound like an excuse instead of a truth. Still, I brushed it off. Maybe I just hadn't met the right one yet. Maybe the next guy would get it. That's what I told myself driving home that night, trying not to notice how quiet the phone was, how every man I wanted seemed to see me as temporary. Weeks turned into months, and then a year. Work stayed the same, nights out got fewer, the group chats quieter. Somehow, life just settled, without really changing. It's 2025 now. I'm 31. And lately, I've started noticing something I never thought I would. The quiet. When I was younger, there was always a low hum of attention around me. Compliments, invitations, glances when I walked into a room. Even when I wasn't looking for it, it found me. Now it's fading. At first, I thought maybe I was just busy. New projects at work, less time to go out. But the silence feels different, heavier. Even regular guys, the ones who used to hover in the background, barely look anymore. They're polite, friendly, but detached. I'll catch one looking, then instantly turning away like it's not worth it. It shouldn't bother me, but it does. Especially because I haven't changed that much. I still take care of myself, still dress nice, still work out. If anything, I'm better than I was at 25. So why does it feel like the market's moved on without me? The weirdest part is what replaced it. My group chats are full of screenshots now, not of dates, but of ads. AI companions, digital girlfriends, virtual intimacy. At first, we all laughed about it. Then one of my guy friends, Sean, brought it up at dinner. He said, "You'd be surprised how many guys are trying that stuff. It's not even creepy anymore. The tech's insane." I rolled my eyes. "So you're telling me men are replacing women with robots?" He shrugged. "Not robots. Just easy versions. They listen, they don't argue, they look how you want. It's like emotional DoorDash. The table laughed, but I didn't. Later that week, I saw it for myself. I was texting a guy I'd met at a coffee shop. Normal dude, early 30s, seemed interested. We messaged a few days, planned to grab a drink. Then, out of nowhere, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of focusing on work and my AI thing right now. It's easier I read it twice." Thought it was a joke. He was serious. That word, easier, stuck with me. Men didn't used to want easy. They used to chase challenge, mystery. Now they're opting out? I told myself it was just a phase. Some trend like crypto or NFTs. All hype, no longevity. But a part of me knew it wasn't that simple. A few weeks later, my friend Jenna invited me to a get-together. Just a backyard barbecue. A mix of old faces from work and college. I almost didn't go, but I figured it'd be nice to be around people. When I arrived, someone I hadn't seen in years was there. Adam. I froze for a second when I recognized him. He looked almost the same, maybe leaner, sharper, dressed casually, but there was something about the way he carried himself that I didn't remember. Calm, confident, settled. He spotted me first. "Hey, long time." I smiled, pretending to be surprised. "Wow, hey. I haven't seen you since, God, forever." "Yeah," he said, easy grin. "Been busy." The business took off. I laughed. "You still doing logistics?" "Yeah," he said. "Expanded the fleet. We're national now. Couple offices out of state. Keeps me on my toes." I blinked. "Wait, national?" He nodded like it was no big deal. "Yeah, it's been good. Built it from the ground up." Before I could respond, a woman walked over. Soft-spoken, maybe late 20s, wedding ring catching the light. She smiled. "Babe, they're starting dessert." He nodded, put a hand lightly on her back. "Be right there." Then he turned back to me. "Good seeing you, though. Glad you're doing well." And just like that, he was gone. The rest of the night passed in a blur. Music, laughter, faces I barely registered. I sat off to the side, pretending to check my phone. Another ad popped up. She listens. She cares. She's always there. A perfect digital woman smiling back at me. I stared at it for a while, then locked the screen. Driving home, I couldn't stop thinking about Adam. How calm he sounded. How content his wife looked. He'd built the exact life I used to call boring. The kind I thought I was too good for. Now it looked peaceful. Even the average guys move differently these days. No chasing, no effort, just polite distance. Crazy, these losers actually got lucky. Somewhere along the line, the balance shifted, and I hadn't noticed. I told myself I didn't care, that I still had time, that men like him weren't rare, just rare for now. But as the streets blurred by, one thought kept repeating. Maybe I was the one who couldn't be handled. The radio hummed in the background. A commercial came on. Real connection, without the risk. I laughed under my breath, but it didn't sound funny anymore. Later, lying in bed, I realized the quiet had never been this loud. I still had my looks, my career, my independence, everything I thought mattered. But somewhere along the way, all that strength turned into walls. And walls don't keep people out. They just keep you in.